Hi, everyone. Oh, thank you. It's good to be here. It's good to be together. I'm glad you're all here on this really important day, our student takeover day. I just also want to say thank you to our student worship team. Wonderful leading. And they're all students except for that one gray-haired guy in the back. So I told Justin I'd make a little bit of a joke. Yeah. We're going to invite a few panelists up here in just a moment. Some of our student leaders who work with our students, both here at Crossview and in other places like in Young Life and those kind of things, just to get some of their perspective. I'm going to ask some really tough questions of these guys, but just for you to be able to hear from them. But one of the things that we really want to make clear, and this, I have loved this, the heart of our denomination, especially over these last years, is to recognize the need and importance of the younger generations operating in ministry within our church. Amen. And not only do we want to just hear from them, we want to give our young people actual, real leadership in the church to lead us forward. And I'm so thankful for the group of young people that we have here at Crossview and all the different connections that we've made in that way over the last couple of years. It's been fantastic, and I'm grateful for what the Lord has done. Would you just, over these next, as we move through the fall and into 2027, I want to invite you just to continue to pray for the young people within our church. Not just Crossview, but not just the Free Methodist Church, but young people in the church in general. We're seeing a fantastic kind of renewed hunger for the things of God in the younger generations, and that gives me so much hope and so much encouragement. And we sing that here too at Crossview. So I'm going to invite our panelists to come on up. I'll give them a moment to get ready, and excited for you to hear from them. So come on up. Let's give them a round of applause. Yeah. Simon, I'm going to give this to you first, just to hold. So this is such a wonderful group of people and leaders, but you all need to know that most of these guys got back from a trip from Nicaragua yesterday, and Justice was in Montana this morning and flew back for this. So basically, he got an hour of sleep, so, if he says, he can say whatever, and he'll probably be a little, just grace. Yeah, grace. Yeah, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask each of these, our panelists here, to introduce themselves and share a little bit about what their youth ministry context is, whether that's here at Crossview or Young Life. So we'll start with Simon.
Good morning, church. My name is Simon. I've been involved with Young Life for a number of years, but when I moved up here, I've been leading at Monroe High School, which is just over there, and I've been doing that for 2 years.
I'm Justice Cagle. I'm the Family Life Director here at Crossview, and then I'm also on staff with Young Life in our area. I've been doing full-time ministry for about 3.5 years now, and part-time ministry for 4.5. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Jack. I go to church here most of the time, and I also help lead with the Young Life Ministry, and I lead at the Glacier Peak High School for the guys up there.
Hi, my name is Taylor. I've been involved with Young Life since probably my freshman year of high school, and I just recently started leading the junior GP guys with Dylan, and I also help lead Rooted as well.
Hi, I'm Ella. I lead the Glacier Peak Junior Girls, and I also help with Rooted as well.
Yeah, we have, and we have other leaders that are out in listening right now as well, and a number of students. So we're just so grateful. All right, so we're going to jump into some questions here. So before we talk about young people generally, tell us briefly about your own faith journey. I've got the questions here so that we can all kind of see what is being asked. Tell us briefly about your own faith journey. Who or what helped your faith in Jesus become real and personal? Ella, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. So I actually grew up in Young Life. My dad was an area director down in Longview, Washington. So I was a staff kid. And so that really started my faith, I would say. I got to watch both my parents be leaders, and that really kickstarted my love for ministry for high school students, and just seeing that be modeled to me by both my parents. But I would say it became real to me in high school when I saw my leader come alongside me and treated me just as important as any other kid. Even though I grew up in the church, I was still pursued and loved in that way. And yeah.
I'd say kind of similar to Ella. Just my young life leaders like Justice here, helping me, helping me to see the way that Jesus moved through his life was just really inspirational to me, and I wanted to pursue that in my life.
I'd say for me, who helped me get a relationship with Jesus that was personal was, one, I was involved with Young Life as a student starting in middle school. So middle school through high school, got involved with Young Life and just had some really cool mentors and leaders and peers in that group. And then also around high school at the same time, attending church at Crossview, just up Highway 9. The youth pastor at the time there, he's no longer there, but he was just really impactful and like showing me the passion and like love you can have between Jesus and yourself, and like God isn't just like a concept, but it's like this deep, loving relationship you can have with our Creator.
For me, I really dove deep into my faith when I realized that it wasn't just for me. When I realized that it was an external thing as well. It wasn't just to be held onto and hid. It was supposed to be shined out and brought to other people. And that really, like the opportunity that I got in that was from Young Life initially. As a young adult, I didn't go to any of the camps as a student, didn't get any of those opportunities. But as an adult, I saw an opportunity to serve the Lord and his church. And so, yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
For myself, my family growing up went to church, but it was more as a routine. And I feel like a huge milestone for me was when I had someone outside of that pouring into me. And that person was my golf coach, who also happened to be the Young Life area director at the time back in Oregon, which was huge. And it felt very personal because he was so interested in what I was doing and how I was doing with my journey and my walk. And it helps when you're playing golf with the same guy every day after school as well. So that was a huge milestone that really made my faith very personal and very real, and helped open a lot of doors for me.
Yeah. I'm going to ask a follow-up question. This is not the next one, so I'm throwing them something new here. So I heard a number of you talk about that, the importance of someone being an example to the faith, of what that looks like in their life and how that helped you. Can you say more about why that's really important for you, but especially for young people? It was the same in my life as well. I had a high school cross-country coach named Mr. Deedon who taught me about life and faith. Oh, yeah, thanks, Wendy. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Same over here, maybe? Yeah, could you, Ella? Thank you. I had a high school cross-country coach who taught me about life and faith through running lessons and was just an incredible example. And really, I learned a lot about what it meant to be a follower of Jesus through him. So say more about why that's important for you, but also for young people that you work with.
Yeah, I would say, at least in my experience, having someone that's showing up consistently in your life is like a really big deal, especially kind of an external person who's maybe not involved directly with your family or your church. In my case, my family was very concerned with, okay, Simon, what are you going to do? Your job, your college, where are you going to study? Versus my golf coach, Josh, he was concerned with, hey, how are you doing spiritually? How's your walk with the Lord going? What are your problems, concerns, questions, anything and everything? And I think just having an outlet for that is monumental in terms of just how you live your life and how you approach problems.
Yeah.
I feel really lucky from the seat that I'm in because I get to see all of these people do ministry. And if I could boil it down to one word, it would be intentionality. Them intentionally looking at students, looking at peers, and coming alongside them in things that they're interested in. I feel so lucky to do ministry with you guys. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say another person I can mention is like there was a faculty member at the high school I went to, which was Glacier Peak. Go Grizzlies! And he.
It's dangerous here in Snohomish land.
Yeah, I'm not scared of anyone here. That's okay. But I would say that faculty member, he really showed he was a person of faith, and I knew that about him, and just seeing how he would incorporate that into his day at work, seeing him throughout school on the campus, and just seeing that example of like, oh yeah, this is somebody who he doesn't separate his faith from his work, or from, even if he's not directly, asking kids at school like, hey, do you want to hear about Jesus? But just he's like living a lifestyle through his work and being so intentional with each student, the students who are sitting alone at the lunch table or whatever it may be. So just having that example of somebody who is a follower of Jesus, and just showing you like, oh yeah, you don't have to like separate all these parts of your lives, like they can be woven together.
Yeah, that's great.
I didn't grow up in a Christian household, so going into high school, being able to have my Young Life leaders bring me to Young Life and see that community and see the community in this church was just really inspirational for me to want to pursue more of my faith.
Yeah, for me, I really found it just encouraging that my Young Life leaders were actually interested in my life, and they got to know me for the things that I enjoyed, like my sports and stuff like that, before they kind of dove into like wanting to talk about faith with me, and it felt more genuine rather than someone that was just trying to like convert me as like a number. And so it was really cool to see that modeled in a way of just like the way Jesus comes to know us and comes and meets us where we're at. And I thought that really like changed my perspective on who I wanted to be as a Christian and how I wanted to lead others.
Great. I just want to make a connection for us. We've spent a lot of time over the last year talking about what it means to be a disciple of Jesus. We've talked a lot about having not just our faith, but that working out into our lives. We've talked about anchoring practices that keep us in God's presence. We've talked about creating space and time in our life to be able to continue to grow in our faith. And I think one of the things that's super important that I'm hearing here is that if we are able to do that, the impact that we will then have on people through just Christ's example in our own life might look like this. It might look like, and you never know what kind of a moment when you're living into your faith will have an impact on someone who's watching you or who's younger or who's asking questions or those kinds of things. So as you're thinking about listening to what they're saying and you're thinking about how does this connect to me? What should I do? Just a passionate pursuit of becoming like Jesus is so important in passing on the faith to next generations. So I want to encourage you to find that passion again and go for it with all your heart. We're going to skip the second question. We're going to go to the third question here. So because you spend time with young people in their everyday world, what are you seeing in this generation that maybe the rest of us don't see or may not recognize?
Yeah, I think this has a lot to do with social media and the age that we're in now, but I see a lot of just really yearning to be known and to be loved and accepted. I see a lot of kids really just wanting to share their life and share how they've been struggling, whether that's on social media or not. And so I think it's really interesting to see the way that it's a age-old human condition, but it's being manifested in different ways because of this generation through social media and stuff.
I think it's been amazing to see how just eager the kids are in Young Life and in this church to just pursue their faith and to had something in my head. Just to see how like willing they are to put themselves out there. Even if it might be an uncomfortable situation, they're still willing to just embarrass themselves sometimes just to make others laugh.
Yeah, kind of going off what Ella was saying, I think I've noticed that with like this generation, maybe there's a label in our culture that like, oh, the younger generations or the newest generations are all like so lazy because we have it so good for most people and we just have all the comforts and all this stuff and all the technology. But I think there's something to be said for like there's like a psychological burden for like this generation that like I would say majority of the current people alive don't know above a certain age, and so just seeing that like kids have to like they're expected to have so much knowledge and be so aware and so self-aware of like everything around them and everything in their social circle and everything going on in the world even, and like have like and just be able to like handle all that on top of like whatever the responsibility is with like school, job, family issues, whatever it may be, and just trying to figure out their own faith as well. So that's just like a huge complicated thing that maybe prior generations, they didn't they have it harder in some ways, but then they didn't have to like they didn't have to care or be focused on all that stuff as much.
Yeah, I might just be repackaging what they said. I think something that I've seen in the younger generation and our generation is that from a young age, we've been like had this idea of instant communication and instant connection through social media and through technology and stuff. And I think now we're seeing the tides turn a little bit where instead of instant communication or connection, it's genuine communication and connection, where it's most times the most attractive way to do that is surprisingly not on a screen, which is bonkers to me. And then also, on another hand, I think there's a beauty in keeping youth group and Young Life cringy.
Amen.
I think, come on.
Lori?
Come on, somebody. But honestly, I think there is something to be said about that. There is so much polish in the world. And so giving students a place to just come and be themselves and be kids and not have this outlying expectation that they're supposed to be somebody that they're not quite yet. I think that is what I'm seeing the hunger stir in them.
That's really good. Thank you, Justice. Yeah.
I guess it just in my experience from getting to interact with youth and people at Monroe High School and kids at Monroe High School, something that's been kind of eye-opening to me that I didn't recognize was that a lot of the students are asking like really important questions about like what is real and what is not, what is truth. When they have, pretty much all the information they could ever want in their pocket, there's so much to go through, so much to decipher. And so a lot of them, when they come and they're spending time with us, they're expecting us to have some sort of answer to that. What is real? What am I looking at? And trying to figure out how does that impact my life in a meaningful way. And so I think it's been just amazing to see the youth actually asking those really important questions about how do I know what's real and what's not, what's AI, what's not,
Right.
Yeah.
That's really good. We kind of are circling around this next question a little bit. Maybe we've answered it to some degree, but what would you say are some of the other deepest questions or struggles or longings that you see in the young people that you know and are working with? I mean, you maybe have just touched on that, Simon, but you have more.
Yeah. I think also just wanting to be seen is a huge one. And I feel like, something like probably 70% of their time is going to be between school and at home. And having an outlet to be able to share without judgment, from either their parents, when they go to school, their tests are getting graded, so they're getting judged there too. But I feel like if you have an outlet to where you can just share about what's going on in your life, without fear of judgment, they're just wanting to be seen and heard. I have so many students that are just wanting to talk to me about their day and tell me what they did, and then just to be able to remember that, follow up with them on that. They were like, man, he actually did care about, what I had going on in my life. And I think for young people, that sometimes it's a struggle to be able to find an outlet to be able to share just what's going on in their life.
Yeah, I fully agree with what you said. That was beautiful. The longings portion, I would say, is to be fully known and fully loved. I'm trying to word it without sharing stuff that I've heard, right? But this idea of a constant longing to remove the filter in front of them and to actually be seen as who they are and not the expectations that have been placed on to them. And I think that's even an echo from our generation when we were in high school, middle school, is that there were expectations placed onto us. And if we look at ourselves in the mirrors, we're probably not that expectation of what we were in middle school and high school. And so being real with the students and giving them an opportunity to step into that.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say I follow the similar trend of thought here with the sense of belonging, and I would just say that I think I've noticed youth and teens and just young people in general really just want to have that relationships that are like they don't have to do anything to earn the love in them. And I think even if they sometimes kids, especially teenagers going through like puberty and all that crazy stuff, like they can struggle with, even if like they have parents who've loved them unconditionally, like they in their head feel like they don't, because like they feel like, oh, well, I have to like, you know, my grades have to be good, or like I have to like do good in my sport, or I have to, you know, be successful in whatever other capacity. And so just being able, they are yearning for a relationship where that's not the deal. The deal isn't I give you this and you love me. And I think that's kind of the biggest goal of, at least what I think of Young Life, the ministry I'm part of, is like showing them like, yeah, Jesus does love you that way. And like, how can we get them to like believe that in their hearts?
I mean, I completely agree with all these guys, but I'd say something I've noticed is kids really want Jesus just come out in front of them and present himself. So I think something that's important for us to do is show Jesus through our lives, and just represent him to the best of our ability to show these kids that he is here.
Yeah, I would say another thing is just, like I said last time, a huge struggle that I've seen is through image, whether it's if they have a relationship with Christ or even after, feeling like they have to keep up with the image of being a really good Christian or what they think looks like being a really good Christian, and promoting that to others, I think has been really hard for a lot of young kids to decipher, because they're seeing it perceived online. And they think, you know, that they have to live up to these standards. And so, yeah, I would just say self-image and wanting to be loved and known for who they are rather than who they're perceiving themselves to be.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. This is great. All right, we're going to go have two more questions, I think. So the next one, we've answered some of this, but the next one I'd like to ask you guys is, what makes young people receptive to Jesus? You can do the second part too if you'd like, what tends to close them off, but maybe I'm more curious about the first part of that question. In your experience, what makes young people receptive to conversations about Jesus?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this in my personal life and just leading as well, but really starting a genuine relationship with them prior, actually being interested in their life and their family and their friends, wanting to hang out with them and not get anything in return, I think has been the biggest thing that I've seen. Kids are actually receptive when those deeper conversations do come down the line, not forcing anything on the first time you meet them. You know, we always say, like, the first time you meet a kid, like, it's a blessing if you even just remember their name. And then the second, third, and fourth time, just remembering, like, little things about them of, like, how was your game or whatever. Because those kids remember those things rather than anything, like if you were to come up to them and be like, do you know Jesus? And then they go on with their day.
What's your view on soteriology?
Exactly, yeah.
I think that kids really want to see how amazing our community is, our church community and our Young Life community. And similar to what I was saying earlier, just they want to see how amazing Jesus is, so I think we should show them through us.
Yeah, I think young people are really receptive to stuff that's fun. And like, I think a goal of Young Life's mission, and also I know Justice does a good job here with the youth ministry here, is like, hey, like, make learning about Jesus and like showing like how Jesus tells us to love one another, make it fun. And like, and then, you know, once they have fun and they can see like, oh wow, like I don't have to like do this other stuff that maybe, we would not recommend them doing to have fun. Like, they can actually have pure joy and just happiness, like doing these like silly things, and like Jesus, like talking about Jesus doesn't have to be super serious all the time. Now, it's great when it is, but it can also be like kind of fun and silly. And like, I think there's parts in the gospel that, Jesus is just telling us that like he's just hanging with his boys, like, I don't know, just like, yeah. And so like, and they're just having a good time. So yeah, I just think that makes students really receptive when you can make learning about Jesus just fun and silly.
Yeah, to kind of bounce off of you, one of the core tenets here is to enjoy the joy of the Lord together.
Yeah, it's our first cultural statement.
Yes.
We want to experience the joy of our salvation together as a church community. Yeah.
Yes. And while you guys have been speaking, I've been kind of looking over at our student section over there to see if I'm seeing like some nods like you guys are killing it or not. But I feel as though what I've noticed with what makes young people receptive to Jesus is to get onto their level. You're not standing up on a stage going, "Wah," like come up to my headiness and all the stuff I know. You're going down to them and going, "Hey, what do you want to learn about this? What do you find interesting?" Because I remember when I was in high school, there's a lot of classes I didn't enjoy. But when I started studying the things that I was genuinely passionate about, it became alive to me. And so asking students, hey, what are you passionate about? What do you want to learn about this? And open the door to questions. There is no dumb question. And you should never feel as though you asked a dumb question. Opening up the freedom to speak and have ideas, I think it leaves the door open to creativity with their faith journey. So,
Yeah, and to kind of continue off what Justin was saying, that was actually a strategy that we used back in when I led Young Life in Oregon, is we left it up to the students. We said, hey, we just took blind votes, like, what do you want to learn about? Anything from the Bible. What are your questions, concerns? And that's what we're going to build our quote-unquote curriculum around. And when they feel like they're a part of it, that makes them super receptive. Like, oh, I'm actually learning about something I'm really interested in and I actually have a question about, not just something that, Justice, as great as it might be, or any of these other people have come up with on their own. I think another really attractive part of it is, just like you guys were mentioning, is it's a family. You're in the family of God. And what it means to be in a family is super important, because some people don't have that kind of a family at their home or at their school with their friends, whatever it may be. But to know that you're welcome, the Father's arms are open wide to any and all, is a super attractive thing to hear and learn more about Jesus. In terms of what closes people off, I think there's a mountain of things. Like, here are the 10 Commandments, you've broken all these, you're in a rough shape, dude. Yeah, that's not going to be great. That tends to close people off pretty fast. But I think there's just so many other great ways to introduce people that Young Life has dedicated its mission to, that's done really well.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing. All right, the last question that I'd like we could talk forever. We've got 9 questions here. We're not going to get to all of them, but it's great to hear from you all. And I want to just give you permission as a lead pastor at Crossview. I want to give you permission to just be real honest here about what you think that our church could do to intentionally become a church where young people experience belonging, they're encountering Jesus, and meaningfully contributing to the church. So, yeah, what do you think?
Yeah. So I'm going to reference my time in Oregon, because I was leading there for a while. But back in when I was leading Young Life in Oregon, we had kind of 4 main things that we would try to cover and do, as much as we could. The first was spending time with Jesus. Are you spending time with Jesus? Are you praying for kids by name? Are you going where students are at? And are you taking someone with you? I think practically, the church can, if you know a kid by name, I would never underestimate the power of prayer. Just praying for that kid by name, that they would come to know the Lord, that the Holy Spirit would work on their heart, that they would be put in situations where maybe they question what they're thinking about or what they're doing. I think that is a very practical thing that we're already good at, but we can always do better.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Amen. That was good. Going after you is like nerve-wracking. I'm scared right now. I feel a little biased too because I'm on staff in charge of the youth ministry. But
You do a good job, man.
hey, thanks,
Yeah.
bro.
Praise the Lord. Sorry. Bro.
So,
Yeah.
ownership. I would say ownership. We could hand the reins to the students. If we want students to feel welcome, feel like it's for them, and that they belong here, it should feel like they're welcome here, and that it's also catered towards them as well. It's a yes and, right? I believe we could, like, I've seen it done in other places, but like student boards kind of thing, where you get ideas and opinions and work crews doing work as students. And like even today, being able to walk into church and be greeted by students.
By a gauntlet of young people. Yeah,
Yeah.
good job making it into this morning,
Yes.
everyone. Yeah.
Give it up for the greeters. That was awesome. That was so cool. But yeah, if we want, it's just like any of us, right? Like as a young adult or an older adult, as Austin Griner says, seasoned adult. If you want to feel as though you belong somewhere, you have to also buy in a little bit. And so encouraging students that it's okay to come and hang out and work and do the thing, I think that's also huge as well.
Yeah, so this question regarding specifically Crossview and the youth ministry here, basically what I'm hearing is what can Justice be doing better? So take notes, Justice. But I mean, yeah, you might already be doing this type of stuff. I don't know. So Justice, you can correct me if you're wrong, but like, or if I'm wrong. But I think maybe something could be like, if just having like student like led like projects or events where it's like, yeah, like you said, like a student board, like they're like, yeah, planning this like service project or like this, event for the church. And, like they're the ones actually running it, not being like directed by I mean, maybe a little supervision might be good, or doing something like, I don't know, like having like something on stage here. Like obviously the music here with the youth takeover is great, or like maybe it's like making a video that matches up on like Kyle's great sermons, you know, a little visual learning. So maybe just things like that, or just some small ideas.
Might be piggybacking off of these guys a little bit, but I mean, I went through the Rooted program here, and I think Justice has been doing an amazing job. Not to hype him up too much, but I mean, yeah, kind of like these guys have been saying, just welcoming the kids in and having fun activities for them to do, and like Simon said, knowing their name, I think is really important, just to help them feel known. But yeah, I think Jess has been doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think one of the most impactful things that I've seen, and that's what drew me into this church. The first time that I came to this church, I was someone immediately came up to me and asked my name, and then the second time I came, they remembered. And so it's sweet to see when new young people come in, they're kind of flocked to, and the people want to know their name, and it's really amazing. And I've seen it with my girls too. A couple of them that are here, Phyllis Roberts will go up to them, ask them their name, pray for them, and then follow up as many times. And it's been really encouraging for them. So I think that is just one thing. I mean, you guys are already doing it, but just continuing to notice them when they're here, because I think, especially in Young Life, we try to encourage the kids to come with us to church if it's their first or second time. So seeing, and it can be really intimidating and scary. And so seeing adults who are nice and sweet and want to get to know them can be really like heartwarming and a good first impression for them if it's their first time at church.
I stole Kyle's mic. I'm going to ask a follow-up question real quick. That we answered, you touched on young adult as well, but I kind of want to go back down the line and see what you guys have seen in context to young adults as well. How do we get them in the door as well as students?
Young adults as in? Our age?
Yes.
My age?
As a panel of
Okay,
young
okay.
adults, how do we get young adults in?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, we are. Simon, you're a young adult. Yeah.
Simon's
really
a
wish
little,
I could
a
be
little
an
older adult, but I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I think it's really encouraging, at least for my friends, and my roommates even, to hear and see what we've been doing with Young Life. I think that my roommates specifically, have asked so many times about my Young Life girls, and like they find it really encouraging that I lead, and that makes them question a little bit too of like, oh, maybe actually I'm interested in coming to church. Maybe I want to learn more. And being able to talk to them about the ministry has allowed for my peers to be interested and realize kind of like what the hearts of my girls and other students have been going through, that their hearts are kind of at the same place. And so it's been cool, I think, just being open about that, yeah, Young Life is not, I mean, club is for high school students, but Young Life and Christ is not just for high schoolers.
For young adults, I think it's awesome to just be able to have another group of young adults that you can come after church and just hang out with and have genuine conversations with, because it might be harder to find a group of Christians with strong faith to just have conversations with outside of church. So I think being able to have that is fun. And also, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think having fun activities is also fun when you're a young adult. So doing that as well is ideal.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we addressed the elephant in the room that we are young adults and not students.
Yeah,
I think some
Student
of the,
leaders. I mean, you guys are
Yeah.
our student leaders, not students.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think some of the students sitting in here are like, who are those old people up there? But no, I think in terms of getting young adults in the door, you know, whether it's here at Crossview or just, you know, at church in general, or even just their faith journey in general, is like, because I know something that's important for me is like, as a young adult, coming into a place and like meeting, you know, more experienced, wiser, older people who can be mentors, and then really forming like a bond with someone in that situation. So I think like, just, you know, Ella was saying this, like how some of the people here on her first time were like very friendly and engaging and stuff. So like doing that to whether it's the student age people or the young adults, and then like offering to be like that, like, hey, like I'm down to have a phone call or get coffee or something, and then that building that relationship with a young adult who, you know, maybe it's like they've left college and now they are like kind of struggling to find those like intimate relationships now in their new adulthood, can be really encouraging to get them to keep coming back.
Yeah, I'd say it definitely can be like an investment. I think making that initial investment is the best way to get young adults into the church. Yeah, I think just being willing to welcome them in with open arms is huge, and also being willing to spend time with them outside of church, I think is a big thing, because there's so many great people that go here to Crossview, but then being able to hang out with a number of them outside of church is cool. It's like, I'm not just going to see you on Sunday, I'm going to see you throughout the week. And I think that's a huge thing, is to building a relationship, is you're doing life with that other person. And then I think having continuity and just like them knowing that we're Christian by the way we treat others, I think is huge. They will know us by how we love others. I think just having that even more elevates how welcoming Crossview can be.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, again, we could talk forever, but can we give our panel a round of applause as say thank you so much? I'm going to say you guys can head back to your seats. I'm going to invite our worship team to come back up. And you know, one of the things that I think is really important is as we move forward, that we are not just thinking about even the people that are on stage as the next generation of leaders. They are the current generation of leaders, leading us in their wisdom and their ability to connect with other people their age and younger, helping us have perspective and insight that is maybe difficult for us. and really helping to lead us along in the church, and hoping to see that even in the generations that follow them as well. Really excited for what's ahead for us as a church, for Crossview, but also just as a church in general, with the young people and leaders that we have. And so thank you, Justice. Thank you, panel. Thank you, church, for being willing to listen to them this morning.